Welcome, everyone. This is the Rachel and Coyote Show, and we are talking about who pays on a date. So, this is going to be an interesting topic. We're going to discuss two aspects of it. One, the guy that's trying to get out of paying, and then the guy that wants to pay. And we're gonna talk about which guy you should be looking out for. So, how are you today, Rachel?
Oh, good. How's it going?
It's going wonderful. Had a great weekend. Kind of ended on a sour note, but we won't get into that on the show. But once again, we're talking about who pays on a date. And so let's talk about the guy that is trying to get out of paying.
Hmm.
So,
What do your friends say?
well, I'll tell you, all the people in my circle, they're the guys that want to pay. That's just, that's the gentleman thing to do. That's been the traditional thing to do. I mean, if you ask a girl out on a date, then you kind of expect to pay. You know what I mean? But I understand where, women don't want to feel an obligation whenever you go on a date. They want to go Dutch because they're like, hey, you didn't pay, so I don't have to put out, you know. But let's talk about the guys that try to get out of it, and the guys that I see that trying to get out of it. they're trying to they're trying to get into somebody's pants without actually having to pay for it. I guess they're trying to prove a point. What do you think?
Well, it's such a nuanced topic because there's all kinds of people. And then not only are there different kinds of men and women, but then also they will treat different people different. The same man doesn't want to pay, on this date, but he is begging to pay on another date. So it's very nuanced. I would say, I have a girlfriend and she's married, but when she was dating, she would never, ever let a man pay for her. And so some women do truly think that way. And perhaps for some women, it only takes one time to get burned. And, if a man ever pressures you or you're made to feel bad, sometimes the women will just say, you know what? I don't owe you anything. I paid for myself. And that's, the way they want to do it. So that is how some women think.
So do you think maybe it's a pride thing as well? It's like I can do it myself.
It's very nuanced. It depends, upbringing, bias, history. Like it's very, very nuanced. I would say it's more that I don't owe you anything. I do think that you could be onto something, and for some women, maybe, but it truly is if men never pressured or expected a one night stand or pressured you for sex, then no, I don't think women would be reaching for their wallet. Yeah. But I think it's the type of thing that if you get burned once, or you feel in danger, or you just get upset, some women will say, I pay for myself and I owe you nothing.
Well, I mean, it could be you're just trying to get to know each other first. Let's don't have any obligations.
Yes, yeah, that piece that I don't owe you anything. Yeah.
Right, right.
The woman who's very independent. So I also have a guy friend, and he was going to go on a date, a very prolific dater, and he was going to go on a date. And so, because he dates a lot, he's kind of watching his money and he can afford to go on dates. But if you're going on a lot of dates, this does add up. And so, one time he was texting a woman, and, he said, we should go here for dinner. And she's like, no, I'd rather go here. And she sent him a link for a much more expensive restaurant.
Oh,
And so he got mad and he just told her off, and yeah, decided not to take her on said date because he was very sensitive to, I don't want to pay too much.
okay. Well, I mean, gosh, this could break off into so many different conversations. Now, I've got 100 different topics running through my head just talking about this, but and I'm gonna tell you straight up, I'm glad that I'm married and I don't have to date anymore because I just don't know how I'd be able to handle it.
Yeah, how you and the thing is, it's that question that you would think that these are grown adults, like should you know what you're doing? And I would say no. It doesn't matter if it's early 20s or in your 50s. You still got people being like, what do I do? And then there's a camp of women, I always pay for myself, or other women who are like, I'm not reaching for my wallet. So but there's a huge camp in the middle,
Mm,
and they literally are looking at the person looking for cues because they don't know that other person's bias. If you already knew that's the type of woman she's going to insist, or that's the kind of man he just wants to pay, you would know. But because people don't know, it's this huge quandary.
yeah, it's true. I mean, I can only speak from the perspective of guys in my age group. I don't know what it's like for younger guys. I do know that I've heard several women who say that they are looking for that strong man, that gentleman, the real man. And there's a bunch of women out there who are good women that would take care of their man, and they're just not getting asked out because guys are afraid to to go up and approach somebody and say, hey, do you want to go out on a date? It is a lot easier for guys my age that are dating and they find women in their age category because they have a lot of the same values and thoughts and the way they were brought up. So the idea of the woman paying, it's unfathomable to me.
Welcome to 2021.
Right.
The thing is because it's a microwave society,
Hmm.
and sexual, you can do whatever you want, everybody does whatever they want, no strings attached, because that is the environment.
Hmm.
I think that it is very common, and I think that there are a lot of men who they don't want to spend money on a woman when they hope for a one night stand. And if they're like, well, if I gotta work for it, I guess I gotta take her out a couple times. But by date three, man, I better get sex out of this. And so for a man like this, and he already knows, like I'm not really interested in her, or I honestly I'm not interested in any kind of relationship. These men probably do not want to spend money, and they will try to spend as little as possible. And
Sure.
because the the times we live in, it is very much where a lot of people will split the check. So nobody knows what's going on. Yeah, no one knows what's going on.
Well, that guy that I was when I was younger, that was the little kid that was just looking to get laid. I'll be honest with you. That's what you think about when you're a young guy. And as you mature, those thoughts change as to I'm really looking for somebody that I can spend my life with. No, no, that's kind of jumping the gun with our topic here, but I mean that's guys that are looking for a relationship, they are it's not about paying. They don't care, that they're spending the money. They're just trying to find somebody that they can relate to, they can get to know, that aren't looking to jump in bed with everybody that they meet. I mean, there are guys out there that are like that. And unfortunately, there's a handful of guys that's all they're about is getting laid, and that makes it hard on the rest of us.
Well, I had a guy friend, and he was on a date, and it was dinner. And so he ordered just something reasonable for dinner. And then he watched as his date, I don't know what it is, but maybe she picked lobster and an appetizer, and she was drinking. And so he's watching this bill, go up and up and up. And this man, he has a good job. But the thing is, if you're dating a lot, and these dates, if you're drinking at your nice place, and this is a $200 date, or what she's spending on herself or whatever. So if you're doing this several times a week, it does add up. So I
True.
think also a matter of the man's income level, what he can do. So if you're dating and you're going on dates, you don't want to spend the majority of your income on your dates, especially if these are women you're not that interested in, or you decide you don't become that interested because you don't necessarily know in one date. And yeah, and he did not want to take her out again because he remembered the bill from the last time. So I think that if men have money, they truly don't care. It's like nothing to them. But for many men, they have a budget.
True.
It can't just be, and I think that's reasonable, and I think it's fair. I think it's responsible to think about your budget.
Well, I mean, in my shoes, when I was dating, um, I didn't ask somebody out unless I had money to go out. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah.
But here is another problem. When somebody is racking up a $200 bill at dinner, then I guess the guy is going to kind of expect you to put out.
Yeah, so there you go. You have made an honest statement as a man that, maybe that's what a man would think.
Well, I could tell you from the perspective of guys like me, when they take a woman out and the woman like orders just a salad or something like that, they're barely eating anything. It's appreciated, but we want you to feel comfortable enough to eat,
Is it
get some.
appreciated because it doesn't cost much, or what's the appreciation?
No, it's just like, we want you to have a good time and don't feel like you have to order the cheapest thing on the menu. It's like, I don't mind spending a little extra on you. If you want to get a steak or something, then get a steak. Don't sit there and eat a, a salad just, I don't know, because you're trying to be nice or something.
Yes, yes. There's a lot of this onus on men, what should men do or whatever. But I do think that it doesn't kill women to be respectful of men. So, for example, the college kids don't have money. Some do, but some do not. And so if you're eating ramen in your dorm room and you have your part-time job, you're trying to pay for your books, or part of your rent, you split a house with your friends or whatever, you know I don't think that, and a lot of times the college scene, people are going Dutch and like paying yourself, so that's okay. But I think it's okay that if that the man doesn't have a lot of money, or if the man started his business, or he got laid off, or once you learn a few things about him, it's okay to be respectful. There's nothing wrong with just thinking and trying to understand this man.
Well, paying for a guy is a way of saying, I can take care of you. You know what I mean? So that's why, at least the guys that I know, that's why they want to pay. They want to prove that, hey, I can take care of you. I'm worthy.
Yes, yes, no, I love it. So like we're in the older, where I'm older, so the college and the young, it's kind of like a foreign world to me too, but I just know that that's how it is. And there is an evolutionary behavioral scientist. His name is Gad Sad. And so basically, he's a marketing guru, and he talks about the Zahavian principle, or the Zahavian signal, which is basically that for a signal to be honest, it has to be costly. And this is just sort of a biological, scientific, and behavioral. He comes at it from that viewpoint, which is basically marketing. But really, what that is when it relates to dating, is that you know Godsad talks about this, that even if there's a woman who's very wealthy and she can afford to pay for herself, if she goes on a date with a man and he's cheap, she won't go on a second date because even though she can afford to pay for her own steak or, bottles of wine, she wants an honest signal from the man, and an honest signal is costly. That's what the Zahavian principle is. So it's just kind of an interesting, from a marketing or, biological scientific perspective. And you're saying that the men want to take care of women, but there's a lot of pieces to this.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of creeps out there. And if I was in a woman's shoes, I would be kind of questioning, why does this guy not want to pay?
Mm.
Is he just looking to get something for nothing, or what's the deal?
Yes. Well, that's what they want. Yeah, that's what they don't want to pay. Yeah. They're like, well, I have no intention of seeing this woman again. How many dates or how much do I have to pay? How much it's going to cost me? Get laid and get out.
Yeah, that's what puts guys in a bad light, is that whole I just want to get laid and then I don't ever want to call you again, which I think is pretty crappy. But that, once again, these are all my opinions, and may I emphasize, these are my opinions. So I can't speak for every guy out there, but I'll tell you from what my experiences are.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I have very generous guy friends.
mhm.
And so I will say, for myself, my guy friends, I don't think I have ever paid for myself, and these are just my friends. So we're just friends, but again, I'm older, so maybe that's it. I have no idea. They're very generous. And I had one time where it was my guy friend's birthday, and I was like, okay, let me take you out for your birthday. So I fully intended to pay because I'm treating him for his birthday.
Mhm.
And, you know, and he wouldn't let me pay. So basically he took himself out for his birthday. But so I don't know really, I don't really know what to say, because honestly, even my guy friends, they're very generous.
It's the gentleman thing to do.
Yeah.
That's just the way I think.
You have really high quality guy friends. They're creme de la creme. So
Well, there you go. Well, I can understand where a woman's coming from when she just wants to get to know a guy and, doesn't want any obligations. So they're like, okay, I'm going to pay my own way. I totally understand that. But let's put it this way. You should be able to say no. Even if a guy spent a lot of money on you, you should be able to say no. And if a guy can't take no for an answer, then he's a piece of crap. Okay, I'm just gonna say it. The guy's a piece of crap if he can't take no. But if a woman wants to find the guy, then you pay attention to what is his intentions. If he's taking you out and he doesn't expect anything in return, just to have a conversation, to get to know each other, and that is the whole intention, is this guy's not making moves on you. It's not that he's not wanting to sleep with you. It's just he wants to get to know you. That's the guy that you want to consider to be your mate, because he's really and truly, that's his intentions, is I'm looking for somebody. And that's how they're serious. If they're not just, hey, you know what, we went out on a date, I want to get some, that's the guy that's going to end up not calling you back.
yeah, I think it goes back to that Zahavian signal, and it's an honest signal of your intentions, which it has to be costly. And I think that, you know, any woman on the planet, they kind of know that the man, if he's trying to impress you, he's into you, he really likes you, he's not taking you to McDonald's or
Right.
offering to not get you anything, like not a drink, like nothing. So I think that, if a man saw his dream girl, he's trying to impress her. And
Right.
all women kind of know this, you know.
Well, if you go back to the caveman days, men would go out and they would kill an animal and bring it back to show, hey, I can provide for you. And that's the way, that's how men showed that they can provide for you, and that they're interested in you. Guys, I mean, they used to fight for women, and the way guy shows that he's interested in it, that he's worthy, he can prove himself, is that he pays for the meal.
Yeah.
So I don't. I could go on and on and on. Believe me.
I think it's very nuanced. I don't think there's any right or wrong because, again, you have different age demographics, you have different income, you have different bias and just experiences, So it is so nuanced, which is why people talk about it because they don't know what to do. So, I think that women should always offer because they don't know, what the bias or the history or what the man expects, and
Gotcha.
then you see what happens.
Well, for a guy, when a woman pays, that's to them, it's like they are saying they're not interested. It's
Oh,
as they're it's kind of like how do I put this? It's almost like they're being nice to kind of let you down easy.
oh
So
my gosh. Oh, well, I just from my some of my guy friends, I it does seem to me that, and maybe this is just a difference of opinion, but they want the woman to at least offer, and maybe they had never intention of letting her, but they get offended if she doesn't at least offer.
well, guys like me would not be offended because I mean, I asked you out. I don't expect you to pay.
Oh, no, Kyle, you are just a very traditional gentleman, and so maybe you're just one of those rare gentlemen. Yeah, I don't know. I have no words. Like I just like okay.
Well, it's strange because I've watched a few videos kind of pertaining to men and dating, and there are women out there. I mean, there's rich women out there that they're not getting asked out because guys are afraid, and they're, I don't know.
They have expensive taste and they can't afford it.
No, they're just wuss. They're wussies. They're a wuss. And they're disappointed because they're looking for a real man, and that, you don't have to let on that you have money. Just, if somebody comes up and asks you out and you're interested, you say yes, see how he treats you, and don't let on that you have money. Let them fall in love with you.
Yeah. Well, I think that there are some men with money, and then there's a lot of people who just are normal individuals, with normal jobs. And I do think that it's okay to have a budget, to be considerate, of men. And so, I don't agree with women who just order everything off the met, and I think that you should be considerate and know who you're going on a date with. If it's a college student, if it's a man who's just trying to start his business, if it is a man who has a lot of financial obligations, I think it's okay to be polite
Mhm.
on a first date. I think men want to impress, but later on it's a negotiation, and it depends on the individuals involved. I just know that there's a lot of variety and a lot of different kind of scenarios, so you got to be prepared for everything, I think.
True. I mean, there is being reasonable. So, I mean, I get that. But I mean, if a guy's asking you out, he expects to spend a little bit of money. Otherwise, he wouldn't have asked you out in the first place. But I get it from both sides. The obligation thing, and but once again, being from the generation that I'm from, that was just the gentleman thing to do. That's what you were supposed to do. So women, just pay attention to that guy. If he's trying to jump into your pants on the first date, then that's not the guy you want to be with anyway.
Yeah, yeah. The honest signal. You look for the honest signals.
Yeah, I'm. I don't know. To me, you kind of get to know that person and their intentions on that first date. So, I mean, not everybody picks up on signals. They're kind of ignorant, but for the most part, I always knew when I took somebody out what was going to happen.
Yeah.
Was usually within the first 30 minutes of the date. I could tell you if I was going to be sleeping with this person or not. But once again, that was the immature days. I know there's still a lot of immature guys out there. There's guys that are my age that are still immature. But you want to
You
look.
pay if you knew like this is just a quick late and I don't want to spend money.
No, no, I still paid.
Oh,
Now, I will say that I had been dating a woman for a while, and she wanted to show her appreciation, and she asked very nicely if she could pay for the meal. And of course, I'm being the guy that I am. I didn't want her to, but as my preacher used to say, don't steal other people's blessings. So if they want to do something nice for you, you should allow them to do that. So keep
yeah.
that in mind too, guys.
Yes. You know what, Kyle? It's very possible that you're more the expert on this than I am. You know, how men think. Honestly, I have no clue. I don't know. I always just say, hey, you know what? Offer and then just see what happens. Like, be prepared for anything because I
True.
don't know the answer.
Well, I guess it's one of those topics. I don't think you have a definitive answer. It's kind of like a case by case basis. So you
I mean,
just have to.
is that the culture that we live in, where it's casual sex all day long, I do think it's very prevalent. A lot of men do not want to pay or want to pay as little as possible because they know it's going nowhere.
Yeah.
And also, if they're dating a lot, they also have a budget. So, there is that. But I also think that men, the Zahavian principle, the honest signal, that if they truly wanted to impress, yeah, then they are trying to, show you that they can provide.
I know it's probably wouldn't happen, but you should kind of give your intentions to begin with. If you're going to be a,
Happening.
well, I mean, if you're,
Yeah, I have no interest in you and I just want to sleep with you and I want to pay as little as possible.
well, I'm not saying that. Oh, my thing is if you're a serial bachelor and you have no intentions of getting married, you just want to stay single, then you should let somebody know, hey, look, I'm not looking to get married. I just like to casually date and let the woman decide, hey, do I want to sleep with this guy or I want to, move on to somebody who wants a real relationship. That's kind of a tricky thing. How do you tell somebody that?
Yeah, those men are not, I mean, they may say it like I just, I like to keep things casual, but they are not being extremely direct because their motive, what they want out of it, no women like to be used.
True.
No women want to be treated like piece of meat, even though they say they're sexually liberated and stuff like this. Like women don't like this. So, that I don't know if that really happens with the men who know what they're doing.
Well, I would tell everybody
That I don't know.
I would tell everybody to refer to our video on one night stands, and that because that is a another topic we could really get into, but for time restraints and the topic at hand, we won't get into that. But like I say, I guess there's no definitive answer. I
And
just
there is no answer. I want to, end on something positive. I will say that there are many amazing men, good men, and they do know how to treat women well. And so I think that, women, when you meet these good men, just say thank you and be very grateful for these guys. They are out there.
there are some good guys out there, so give a guy a chance. If the guys that you're out with he ends up being a jerk, well then you move on to the next one. There's nothing saying you have to be in a relationship with this person, so just see how it goes.
Yes. And good luck to everybody. Kind of risky.
Yeah, good luck in this this climate of dating and everything else going on, good luck. That's all I guess. I'm glad I'm married.
That's all I gotta say.
Well, everybody, yeah, Rachel is a therapist and she is a life coach. So, seek her out. We'll put her links in the description, so you can find her. I know on LinkedIn. Do you have any other social media that you have people contact you through?
rhmaldonado.com. And, I am a therapist, but believe it or not, I have a lot of guy friends. And, I swear to God, some people are like, you should be a dating coach, which, honestly, dating coach, it's too simple for me. I want to know about the nuance of the relationship. But, whatever. I try to help out. And this is my guy friends, I'll do it for free. But if I don't know you, then, you can contact me on the website.
There you go. All right. Well, we'll put the links in the description, and we'll call it a day on this topic.
Yeah,
And
it was.
so it was kind of fun. It's nice to talk about both sides of the coin. I say I don't know what it's like out there now.
Oh, either.
I hear horror stories from time to time, but unless you're out there in it, I don't know. I just don't know.
Yeah, it's it's fascinating and it's nuanced and it's tricky. And like I said, I truly think that there's a lot of individuals, a lot of scenarios, and it kind of makes it fun. So instead of being intimidated or angry, just navigate your way through it and just try to have fun.
Don't give up. Just give it a try. That's all I gotta say. You never know. You might find the one.
Yes.
Well, thanks to everyone that's watched. Take care, and we will catch you on the next one.